Hey everyone, I'm Arlen Bento Jr. Welcome to the Shoot Par Now Golf Show. I'm here with my main man, James Stammer.
Hey everybody.
And we're here to bring you our weekly show. We're going to cover a little bit about the tour, going to talk a little bit about golf, come up with a story. We never know what's going to come out.
That's what the Hawaiians do. They talk story.
That's talk story. I think all people like to talk story. Want to thank Cobra. So I'm sponsored by Cobra. This is my 25 staff head cover. It's pretty snazzy, isn't it?
That's pretty sharp.
Yeah. And I've been rocking this this Adapt Dark Speed 10K driver. It won a bunch of like really good like awards this year.
Okay.
And this one has 33 settings, and I know that sounds like a ton, and it is, but it's been really solid. This is by far the most stable driver I've ever played because I've always been kind of loose with my drives, and this is stable. And I figured out the setting that works, and I've been hitting it really good. So
You need like a thesis to figure out.
No. You just go online, you pull the chart, tell it. It just kind of shows you, but it just gives you more
and then
options.
you get close, and then you kind of tweak it from there.
Yeah, it's good because some of them there's not enough.
Mhm.
Like some of them are too simple. Like but
There's like 4 settings. Yeah.
Yeah, so this one, it's more like where do you, like what, you look at it, kind of look, it says, like, what are you hitting?
Mhm.
And it tells you it tells you just do this and that'll fix that.
Okay.
So it's a little different. Like,
Okay.
if you're high right,
Yeah.
then you set it like this.
Okay.
It'll fix it.
bring it back towards the
Mhm.
middle and a little.
Yeah, it really works too.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was shocked because I normally like to take clubs and just kind of start them on whatever the standard is and figure it out.
Whatever they gave you.
But I was kind of getting a little high right, and then I went in and it said do this, and I put it, and boom, square. It worked really good.
It's too damn easy.
It's really easy.
Don't let the USGA hear about it.
Oh, it's legal. It's all
I know,
legal.
but they'll find a way to make it harder.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do
Can't
something.
figure that stuff out. So last week, the PGA Tour was in Canada, our friends to the north,
Over the border in Toronto, not far from
home of
Buffalo, New York.
of maple leaves and maple syrup and sometimes crazy people, but we have a lot
Beer,
of them
eh?
too. That beer, eh? But so before we get into the winter and all that kind of stuff, the big thing, the little thing that I picked up on it was the hockey rink.
Yeah.
And I've never seen that in golf.
I mean, it seems like every tournament now they pick a par
Theme.
and they kind of theme it. I mean, you had the waste management. You have the thing that looks like Yankee Stadium almost around it.
Right.
Up down here at the Cognizant, the 17th hole, they kind of wrap that around the Patriot Outpost and everything else. So it kind of has a stadium-like feel to it. And, hockey's a Canadian national sport.
Big sport in Canada.
So what did they do at the 14th? They basically put in hockey boards and ran it around the tee area. It looked like, an open-ended hockey rink. Put a goal at the back end of it. So there was a hockey goal at the back of the tee. And everybody beat on the boards and banged on the boards when the players would come up like they would if there was a fight. And and sang "Oh Canada" for every single Canadian player that came through. So that was...
How many do you think were in there? It was quite a few.
I saw them do it to at least 4 or 5 guys.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool to watch. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah.
And then I'll give Cote Nost a lot of credit. He was doing the commentary on the hole along with what's her face? I can't think of her name now. But so she had a Toronto Maple Leafs jersey on, and this was on Saturday. And one of the guys made a comment. He said, "Well, it's interesting. It's not often you see a Toronto Maple Leafs jersey in the 3rd round." Because they've been getting beat in the first or second round of the playoffs. So, they weren't happy with that.
No.
They weren't Amanda Palionis was there.
Okay.
And Colt Nost came in a Florida Panthers jersey.
He did.
Panthers, baby. So
Representing.
he was representing it.
Yeah.
They booed him.
Oh, I bet. Canadians don't like
He
the.
caught a lot of
I don't
grief
think
for that.
I don't think the cold weather cities in hockey appreciate the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers and the Dallas whatever. It's not cold.
Hey, every Stanley Cup Finals this decade
I know.
has had a Florida team.
I know. Yeah.
We are 6 for 6.
So different subject, but it's got to be the good players want to come be in the weather. It's got to be part of a draw.
When you think about it, in the wintertime, your day off, would you rather go play golf or would you rather
go to the beach,
shovel your driveway?
So it's kind of amazing. It's kind of amazing when you think about it like that. Okay, but the tour was in Canada. TPC Toronto. Nice venue.
First year there of a 5-year contract. They'll be back again next year. Players all had good things to say about it. It was a nice looking golf course. It
looked beautiful.
The closing, they said the closing 3 holes, I think, are the second longest
stretch on tour.
Second longest stretch on tour. So that created some drama.
I love seeing the up northern. That's really north and beautiful. I mean, the grass is different, it's rough and trees and all that stuff. And now I kept watching. Now was it on the first hole or was I watching 14? Where they were really going nuts when the players teed off.
That was 14.
That was 14. So that's why they were cheering so hard when the Canadian players came through. Because they kept showing that in the highlights and making such a big deal of that. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So I lost. No, McIlroy played terrible, right? He had like an 80-something.
McIlroy missed the cut. He missed the cut by 13 shots.
Before we talk about him, that's not nice. We should probably talk about the winner before we talk about how bad he played.
Oh, yeah, we should.
Yeah, but we were talking about our American players, but again, not an American one, but Ryan Fox.
Ryan Fox, who won just
a couple weeks ago,
just a few weeks back, not even a month ago.
Yeah,
his first win, now has 2 wins under his belt.
Amazing.
He's a Kiwi, right?
Yeah, I think so. New Zealand, right?
Won in a playoff.
Yeah,
playoff against Sam Burns.
Yep.
He birdied the
4-hole playoff.
He birdied the 4th extra hole.
Right.
It was sudden death playoff.
Right.
And he hit, by his own admission, he said it's probably the best shot of his life.
Really? That's always good to do it.
The 18th hole is a par 5.
Yep.
He had 259 yards for his second shot. Decided to go for the green.
Driver.
He knocked it to 7 feet.
What did he hit? Like a 9-wood?
He hit 3-wood, actually.
I did?
He knocked it to 7 feet and was able to, after the way Burns played the hole, he was able to, all he needed was a 2-putt for the birdie to win, and he did it. He would have had the 3-putt because Burns made par. But what a shot.
Well, you got to hit, to win at any level, you're going to have to execute something.
Yeah.
And somebody isn't going to, right? That's kind of how it ends. So, 269 fairway wood, hit it in there and 2-putt. It's pretty strong, right?
Work, yeah.
Yeah. And they were just kind of like going back and forth on the other playoff holes.
Yeah.
And it was a good field. I think the tournament's a good tournament. But again, I'm picking on Rory because we started there because he didn't play the Memorial, right? Because he was committed to this, right?
Yeah. He wanted to get up north. He wanted to. And it's not like Toronto's that far from Ohio.
Yeah, but what was that payday for him? They probably paid a lot for him to go.
Yeah.
But that's happened sometimes.
Yeah, he shot. He had
80. He had something 80.
Yeah, he shot about 80 or 81 on Friday.
Yeah, you don't see that too much out of tour players, especially of that caliber. So,
and then there's Matthew Pavon, who had a 12 on a par 4.
Oh wow, Matthew Pavon.
That was his second. I think it was the second. No, it was the 10th hole. He made the turn and made it 12.
Bad hot dog.
At that point, do you just go, you know what? I'm not even going to play the last 8 holes. I'm already going home. I might as well just go home now.
Well, in golf that's considered really not good.
Pretty cheesy.
Yeah.
But you almost wonder sometimes.
It's like, oh, my back. Yeah. My back. Oh, my neck. My neck. I've got a migraine. Yeah, that 12 will kill you. Those last 8 holes were long.
Yeah, they gotta be
long. You go back to your probably like, so what'd you make there? And it's like, hang on. 12? Looks at his caddy. What did I make there? Like, I lost track after 9.
All I know is I'm not making any money this week.
Announcer said he made a 12 there, Dan. He made a 12 on that hole. And it's kind of like, I always think of that Tin Cup, the end of Tin Cup, when he's just like firing balls in that lake. It's just hilarious, like the greatest, 10 of all time. Oh, that's too funny. Too funny. But it was still nice. This is multiple this year on tour, right? We've already covered Fox, Scheffler, somebody else that won twice. No, we're thinking about the kid that lost to Scheffler. Ben Griffin, right?
Yeah, Ben Griffin, yeah.
So again, I'm not saying that those guys aren't great players, but
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta think that the tour looks weak to me. That's what I think. And again, I know that's not nice to say, but
Yeah.
I think it's a little weak without the live guys.
It's guys that we haven't heard of.
Yeah, we got to give them
If
credit.
they keep it up, it might be guys that we continue to hear of.
But again, it seems like it's like a small top. If you got similar guys like almost dominating, that's what I meant. Like, where's the depth?
Yeah.
You know, where's everybody else? You know, like why are we hearing so much of, you know? Again, we're not. I guess, are we halfway in? Maybe close.
Yeah, we're close to the halfway point.
Yeah, maybe we got to be past halfway, right? U.S. Open's kind of like the halfway point.
U.S. Open's coming up this week. Speaking of the U.S. Open,
right? Always one. You know, again, U.S. Open's a big one.
My least favorite of the 4 majors.
Why is that?
Just
you don't
because
like
it's just ridiculous.
It'd be hard. The USGA does.
I mean, the USGA just to me they trick it up to the point where it's not even golf.
Mm-hmm. It depends on the venue, though.
And this week they're at Oakmont, which is like
gonna be really hard.
Which I mean, even the members complain about how hard it is on their place. So they want it hard, even harder. They're saying the greens are going to probably snip between 14 and 15.
Oh my!
I don't know how they're going to keep the ball on some of those greens if that's the case.
So there's a couple things going on in golf. One, what they don't want is they don't want to see under par, right? They
never have.
Yeah, they don't like it when the players light it up. But when you make a course long, like Oakmont's going to be long,
7,600 yards, 7,700 yards,
and you make it hard and fast, you really have taken out a lot of players.
Mm-hmm.
So the only players that can succeed, you have to hit long and you got to hit high, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be able to stop the ball. So guys like Scottie Scheffler, huge advantage.
It's that high fade, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so all the players that have that speed and they have the height, they can do well. DeChambeau's been kind of quiet.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that much out of him, even on
a few weeks.
Yeah. And so
I know
I'm curious.
Rory played last week. He played at Oakmont.
Yeah.
And he did make a few comments about the greens.
How tough they were?
He says some of them are impossible if they keep them like this.
Yeah.
He says you're looking at 6-7 hour rounds of golf because guys are going to be 3 and 4 putting all over the place, and that's not good.
Well, it's not good, but does it create excitement? Do people want to watch it because it's so hard?
I will want to watch it. To me, it's like, and I get it. They all have to play the same course, but at the same time, and it's tough, and it should be tough. But at what point does it stop? Does it stop being golf?
Right.
And if you're the USGA, part of your job
promote golf
should be to promote golf. Yeah. You don't want to make it look like it is so impossibly difficult and frustrating to play that even the best players in the world don't really want to be there, other than the fact that it's the U.S. Open. Yeah. So how does that help? How does that promote the game?
I don't know. It's very strange, but their comeback has always been, this is an elite event, elite field on the toughest conditions that we can create to see
6-inch rough.
Yeah.
Concrete greens.
So I don't know what the weather's going to be like whether if it rains though, they could soften up.
Yeah.
But still.
I mean, look at Aaron Hill's last week or 2 weeks ago with the Women's Open.
Too much.
They killed the greens. They burned out the greens. Everything was rolling at a 14 or so.
That's what they want. They want that number, I guess.
You had a lady at the end of the event that, the winner was trying to finish the hole, and this other poor lady was struggling to make a triple bogey. It took her 20 minutes to finish up around the green because she was trying to make a putt, so she didn't keep falling back so far. And it was ridiculous to watch.
Oh, that's not any fun. I know this is terrible. So, I hope the U.S. Open doesn't have the male version doesn't have the same kind of thing. But it will be interesting next week when we cover it on how it'll be looked at. But it'll still be fun to watch. I do like that it's on Father's Day. Me being a dad, and my family's going to come over, so I get to see my grandsons, and we're going to hang out and barbecue. So we'll have some stuff going on Sunday and be able to watch a little U.S. Open.
Now they'll probably talk about Johnny Miller.
Yep.
And the reason they'll talk about Johnny Miller is because back in 1973 at Oakmont, Johnny Miller shot a 63.
You won't see that.
Which was 10 shots better than the average score that day.
Right. Again, high.
There were only 3 other guys that were under par for the day, and Johnny Miller was 9 under. And he had a putt lip out on I think it was the 8th hole.
Well,
so he could have been at 62.
They consider that one of the greatest rounds in Open history, though.
Yeah.
That is considered.
Just because of the conditions.
Yeah.
And this was at Oakmont.
Yeah.
So.
But again, another long, high ball, relatively high ball hitter, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But that's an amazing. Now, but what do you think the yardage was back then? 19, whatever.
Probably in the mid 6,000, 6,600, 6,700.
Yeah, I'd say
maybe.
67, 68.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again,
and we're almost 1,000 yards more now.
Right. But that tells you, like, and don't forget that Johnny Miller, if you gave, he could have played 7,600 with the new equipment. They're still playing Bellata and wood, and he was still hitting at 280.
Yeah.
So again, like Jack had always said, Jack Nicklaus always said, it was Jack that was talking, like, it's the golf ball.
Oh, yeah.
It's like bring the golf ball back to a tour spec, and all these courses don't have to be so long. But
the course Johnny Miller designed up in Harmony, outside St. Cloud, Florida, between Melbourne and Kissimmee on 192 there, they can stretch that to just over 8,000 yards if they want. Now, you were talking 8,000 yards at almost sea level.
Oh man, that'd be so hard. It's not like we're in Denver playing or whatever.
Can you imagine playing that in the humidity of July or August?
I'm telling you,
From
my
back there?
6,600, 6,500 down here feels long to me. Because when it's humid and wet and stuff and it's not going anywhere.
The ball didn't roll.
Yeah, in the wintertime down here it's great. The ball runs,
Oh yeah, you get an extra
20, 30 yards. Yeah.
Did you see some of the guys at the RBC at the Canadian Open this week?
Getting bounced.
They showed on one of the holes, they were hitting it like right at 300, 305 in the air, and they were getting anywhere from 45 to 60 some yards of roll. I don't know what that is.
No way, you don't get no roll.
I might get 6 feet of roll.
No,
I
yeah,
certainly
really.
don't get 60 yards of roll.
It's funny you said that because I was watching something on YouTube. It was like in St. George, Utah, which is gorgeous, and it was like the Utah State amateur mid, one of the YouTube guys, and they're hitting 4-iron off the tee on 400-yard holes.
Oh yeah, just to keep it in play.
And they're going. Yeah. It's going 250, and I'm going, what? And I watch them, and I know it's not they're not tour player hits, right? But it's like, and it's because I tell this story. I got to go when George George was a big like football recruit, and we went to Utah for a big camp, and I got
defensive end, wasn't he?
Yep, and I got to play. We went to play a golf course just for fun to kill time one day, and I rented clubs, and the first tee shot I hit was like a downhill whatever. And I hit it, and I'm looking for my ball, and it's like, can't find my ball, and it's like on the front of the green. I looked at George, and he, that then he didn't play golf. He was like, is that good? I go, it's like 380, George.
That's insanely good.
Yeah, the ball went so far. And I forgot, because I haven't played out in altitude, and Hawaii's not that long where I'm from. Yeah. But I have played golf in, Nevada and up, California, different places in Texas. And the ball does roll a lot more than it does here. So those are you guys that laugh at the yardages sometimes. You come play down in Florida when it's hot and muggy, you'll see. You're not going to see your same yardages.
No, you won't.
Yeah. So anything else going on in the world of golf besides that? Just kind of getting ready for the U.S. Open?
Yeah, that's the big thing. Everybody's getting ready for the U.S. Open.
Yep.
The NCAA did their they're now going to allow the schools to pay the athletes, which is good for the golf programs. So they're saying a lot of the golf programs now, the players on the men's and women's golf teams at most of the colleges will see some payment for their play.
So here's where this gets weird. So I think it's great because I think but what you're going to see is all of the big schools that have all the endowment monies and they've built these $40 million golf centers, all from, basically alumni and, former tour players, whatever. But it's just going to make the better schools be just so much better. Yeah, because they're going to be able to attract, kids. And it's good. But it's funny because I built a little side business, and I never launched it yet, but it was about, I think it's like NIL golf brand or NIL golf or something like that I was playing around with. But I tell my kids all the time, you want to be a good player and the school wants to pay you, but if, a lot of these kids with this social media stuff and you have good followers and you can build a brand if you're a good golfer, and that brand pays money now, and so it's just part of the world. But I'm curious to see how they're going to monitor the money because, the schools like, Texas and Oklahoma State, the Floridas, the Notre Dames, the bigger schools, right? How much money can they push, the Stanfords, how much money can they push in golf, So they're going to have to raise it. It's not like they're pulling it from, stadium stuff, right?
Yeah.
But they will. And, good for the kids, but golf, and just so people know, golf scholarships, even at the big schools, they're good. But in general, because I do a lot of recruiting help, and we actually have a little website company called College Golf Pipeline where I help people get, noticed by coaches. But most of the scholarships are negotiated. So I try to explain. I don't know if you've ever heard this, but so I haven't. So like a college coach will have a budget. So the school gives him whatever, $300,000. That's his budget based on, from the athletic program. Maybe there's some sort of endowment, donations, whatever. And so he's got to take that money and fund his team. Okay. So if he's allowed to give athletic scholarships, it's almost like your best player tends to get the most money. And when you start, you don't get a ton of money. But what they do, which they're really good at, is if they really like a player, and usually if the player has really good grades, this helps a lot, but they'll find all this other academic money first before they actually go into their golf money. So say if a school was like $50,000 to go all in, it's kind of low now, but say it was, and the coach would go, okay, you're going to come, but you got really good grades. I want to come, but my grades aren't as good as yours. Well, you're going to get a lot more money because they're going to find you academic one here. Grants are on the other side. Just these are just like money for merit stuff that's out there, right? And they find them, and then they kind of go in there. Say maybe they get you through the school and all you different programs. You get $20,000, $25,000. Then there's some money to help pay for that, or the kids pay. Okay. So almost even big school scholarships, unless you're like really highly ranked, the parents or the kids are still paying for something. So you might get, I've watched, like, I had a girl played for me a couple years ago, and she and she went D3, and everybody goes, D3 doesn't pay. Yeah, they do. They don't just pay they don't pay athletically, but they can fine you money. So a school that was this school cost like, I think $70,000. But I think they were able to get her to like 55 or something like that. So the family's paying, 12, 15 grand a year for a really, really high-end school. Not to say that education is going to be way better if she went to, like a Florida State school or Florida school in state, and she would have got a lot of money through her Florida, prepaid, and her Florida Bright Futures, all that stuff. And she might go to school here for 12 grand a year, all in. But now she's going to a more, I guess, prestigious, I guess you want to call it, but this particular case. But that's how it works. So,
and that money doesn't come out of the coach's fund that he has to play, right?
D3's,
because it's grants and other stuff.
D3's different.
Anybody could get. They just happen to have.
Well, he still gets a budget. He has a budget. He just can't like assign it athletically and say, hey, you're really good. I'm going to give you a full ride. Here's whatever. Yeah. So he has to massage and work it, but they're good at it because any college can give any merit they want. So I always tell kids, like when they're looking at schools and stuff, you want to find a program that has a big endowment, like there's money inside the school from donations and stuff. And you want to look at the coach and the team and if they're successful, because if they're successful, there's probably more money around the program. If you go to a school and there's not a lot of success, there's not going to be a lot of money for the program. So it's very different, and a lot of parents, they struggle with it because they don't like the negotiation. Like sometimes you could have, I've done this before where I have a coach that wants somebody, but his number's a little low, and I have to tell him, hey, she really likes it, but there's 10, 15,000 over here.
Yeah.
And there's always that like, really? I'm like, yeah, really?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to come up.
Yeah.
And they always find it. They find, okay, we found this scholarship over here, and then we can put her, we get a work study over here, and you get some over here, and then they find it. And, the work study she got to do the work, but it might be something she likes doing. It's not always like she's not, digging ditches, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of negotiating at the college level. And again, it's not illegal or anything. It's just your coach wants you, and you say, well, coach, how are we going to put this all together? And they try. But so Division I, Division II, they can pay athletically. NAI, they'll pay. JUCO, some do, some don't. Division III, it's all academic merit.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it just depends on the school. But most schools, if they really want you for a sports team, they do find ways to bring the fees down, which in essence is a scholarship, right?
Yeah.
So it's still a fun way. You get a chance to play college golf. I had a boy go to a school in New Jersey a couple years ago, and it's sad because he was doing well and the team was well, and then he comes back home, and I said, what happened in college? And he's like, the president of the school embezzled money.
No.
And she took millions of dollars, and they had to defund athletics, and it's a big investigation and blah, blah, blah. So how about that? Like she stole money.
Yeah. So who gets hurt because of that?
The kids did. They canceled all their programs. Yeah. And I was like, he could have probably gone somewhere else, but he had gone, I think 2 years or whatever he's been up there. And he was like, nah, I'm just ready to go to work and finish up my education somewhere else. But he got to play college golf, and they traveled, and they got to play, and it was really fun.
That's while it lasted.
Yeah. But somebody was just asking me today, and, I've helped coach a lot of good players. I have kids that played for me in high school that went on to Stanford and LSU and Duke and Houston and Texas. I mean, a lot. I can't even, New Mexico, I don't know, a lot. And some of them had really good careers. The girl that went to Stanford, she was on 2 national championship teams, really good player. And so I've watched a lot of good players come through programs, and it's really fun. But I don't have any, world beaters right now, but I have some really good young players with good swings, and I hope then if they watch, I hope they take it seriously a little bit more and play. What we talked about last week, they just don't play enough. But got my first week of summer camp coming up this week. I think it's my 29th season.
Wow.
Yep. And I've got 7 or 8. I run small camps. I don't do the big, like, load them up. It's just me and a group of 8, maybe 12 at the most, and we really work. We do 3 days a week. We start tomorrow 9 to 12. Get a lot in. We work on short game, putting, approach, swing, a lot of drills. We have a lot of fun. So I'm excited for that. But it's also 90 degrees out, so got to watch the humidity and make sure
you guys will move inside.
Yeah, we go in and out. We've been doing that for so long. Yeah. So the day goes by pretty quick. But I'm excited. I'm excited. And here's been busy. The indoor's been packed. Like, there's been a lot of activity. So I'm excited. I'm always shocked, but it's super busy right now. So I'm here 4 days a week, and it's full, and people are getting better, and so that's what's going on here. Yeah, shoot par now. Check it out.
They got to get better so they can shoot par.
Yeah, shoot par someplace. That's the goal.
Yeah.
So anyway, got anything else to add? Talk about? We'll watch the U.S. Open. Come back. Let them know what we're doing.
Watch the U.S. Open. You want to in the comments? Let me know what you like or don't like about the U.S. Open.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd make it my worst major. I like Masters. I think I'm gonna like. I think the U.S. Open is my second favorite, then the British, and then the PGA. I feel like the PGA is always a little bit like not as exciting, but it's good. But the U.S. Open to me is a big deal because it's still America's championship, right? So that's what I have to say about that. But anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Bye, everybody.